So my name is Jazzmann LeSane. I'm from Pompano Beach, Florida, and I graduated from Pompano Beach High School. Then went on to Florida State, and after that, I spent 2 years in Jacksonville working with, serving with City Year. I served as an AmeriCorps member at a middle school and high school. So during that year working at the high school, because I was a team leader and I wasn't attached to just one class, I was able to have those conversations with juniors and seniors, and a lot of them were the boys. But when I would ask them about, their plans after high school, they just either didn't have a plan, or I could tell that they were afraid to even be honest with me about what it is that they wanted to do. So I was given a vision to start an organization to mentor students and help them learn about entrepreneurship, so that the kids who were likely to drop out because they don't have a motivation to go to college or the military, that's something else that they see in their community and that they can strive for to, want to graduate high school. So 2016, I moved back home to South Florida and just hit the ground running. As far as the entrepreneurship aspect, we started meeting at a pavilion. I had 10 kids that were in high school. And then we were invited to the recreation center to host our workshops. So kind of around that same time, I went back to my former high school, Pompano High, to start hosting the Lemonade workshops, because Lemonade actually started in Jacksonville when I was working at a summer camp, leading after I met the guy through the school. So I noticed that the girls were bullying each other, and it was mainly the middle school girls bullying these 2 fourth grade girls. So I gathered the girls in the room. I had them do one of the self-love activities that I would do at the middle school. And we had a discussion about, how would you feel if they said it about you? So from there, the girls asked if we can do it again. And then I asked the director if we can continue to do it every Friday. So we came up with a name for it. And when I came to Pompano, just to hear the students who I ran into, they were telling me about racism that was happening because of the election in 2016. So I started Lemonade there. And then the following year, because I still had the focus of entrepreneurship, I was invited into Blanche Ely High School. And then I started with a small group of 5 kids meeting during lunch in one of the teachers' classroom. And then the following year, we were given our own classroom, because I would also do Lemonade during the study hall classes. So I had built up a rapport with the kids, and we were pretty much ingrained into the school. So I brought in guest speakers. We went on field trips to the local businesses. And at the end of the year, we did a showcase. So we helped them to prepare their pitch, and they were able to get a logo through the organization and get their first little product. And the first 3 winners, first 3 students, I had some judges, so they were able to win a cash prize. And the first place winner won $1,000, and they were all still in high school. So now, because we've been over the last year meeting virtually due to the pandemic, the focus has been Lemonade, because once I started doing Lemonade at Blanche Ely High School, we were able to incorporate both boys and girls in a lot of those workshops. So the Lemonade workshop is a space for students to come to connect with each other, learn about each other, and we do self-reflection activities. So our focuses are career readiness, self-esteem, healthy relationships, mental health awareness, and social media awareness. And as we move forward, recently I've connected with Yoga for Change, which is, I've talked to the directors in Broward and in Jacksonville. And then there's Social Media Research Institute, which was founded by somebody who graduated from FAMU. So really, I have some students who graduated from Blanche Ely in like 2019 and 2020, and they've started to reach out to me about some of those experiences and some of those guest speakers. So moving forward, I would like to have us, really just ingrained into the schools, and I want to be able to create a way for those students to now come in as mentors, and then eventually evolve into like an AmeriCorps program where we're going into the school and teaching social emotional health.
I love that. Awesome. I might have missed it. What schools are you in right now?
right now we'll be going into Blanchard, Pompano High, and then the 2 middle schools in Pompano.
But you're in what about Jacksonville?
In Jacksonville, I've been this past year. I actually I came back to work with City Year as an impact manager. So I've been in Northwestern and Susie Talbert. And my City Year, I served at Northwestern Middle School. Back then it was a middle school, and Raines High School.
Okay. So you know James Alout. I love City Year. You guys are awesome. Yes.
James was the one who called me.
Yeah.
That is what this is all about, is helping to make connections. The thing I'm fascinated by is that 50% that we saw earlier. This is one of those opportunities, right? It's private, it's kind of community-based, it's seeing a need and filling that need, and that finding the support. Andrew, I would love, because I know that there is a relationship between the Broward CSC and the LeSane project. I would love to kind of hear in terms of the development of this, so that we can kind of learn from that experience of how to support young entrepreneurs that are committed to giving back to their communities.
Yeah, so I did want to chime in just a little bit. We were privileged to meet Jazzmann right before the pandemic began, I think, because we became aware of the work that she was doing in areas that we are trying to add additional resources to. It was in the aftermath of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and it was also in the aftermath of 2 very painful suicides, 2 young students at Deerfield High School taking their own lives, one after the other, and other elements that made it clear that mental and behavioral well-being supports were absolutely needed. And if they existed, they needed to be shared in ways that would be received by those who need those services. Because although the services may exist, many people may feel that those services are not for them, may not receive the information in a way that would make it clear that that it could be helpful to them, because there are different cultural sensitivities that are not addressed as we shared information in the community. So part of what came out of that, let me go back first to the first meeting, was to support one of Jazzmann's upcoming events. So she was poised to have a fair in Pompano, which is one of the areas, 3 areas in Broward County where we have been having some what we call community conversations related to trauma and grief and gun violence. And she was bringing an event in, I think it was at the Part Larkin Center in Pompano, that we wanted to absolutely support, and also broaden by making connections and supporting her in her network activities, I believe with the Crockett Foundation, and other organizations that are doing a lot of work in that particular area. So we've, Jazzmann participated, correct me if I'm wrong, Jazzmann, in those community conversations from the youth perspective, because we wanted a perspective of youth as to how grief and trauma is affecting their lives. And the resources that Jazzmann brings to the fore were absolutely essential in providing that kind of hope and support and avenues. In fact, Jazzmann, offline, I need to be talking to you about some social media influencers opportunities that the CSC is actually funding to help support the sharing of information on resources that help mental and behavioral well-being, sort of a peer-to-peer setting conversation. So we'll be talking about that separately. But so from day one, we've been very impressed with what the LeSane project and what Jazzmann is doing. I know that she's made connections with other individuals, colleagues at the CSC specifically. For example, Adama Dusil, who manages our capacity building and training side of the house, the developer close relationship, and of course Sandra Bernard Bastian. Who is retiring in September, so we will all miss her. And that, oh, is this news?
I didn't know.
Yeah, Sandra and her husband Elliot have found the perfect paradise spot in St. Lucia that could not wait to be. It was an opportunity that they had to jump on. So September 30th, she will be leaving the CSC and beginning this new chapter in her life. But
so we're going to be doing these meetings there, right? Is that what
we go back to physical? Yes.
Yes,
we'll drop in on her. Yes.
Yes. Wow.
I like it. I like it.
So yeah, I mean, Jazzmann, I know I'm not doing full justice to, because I being more involved in issues related to community engagement, when we lost the community, the physical community engagement piece, we kind of lost the opportunity to interact more intensely and effectively. But the level of love and support that we have for Jazzmann and what she's doing is boundless, and so we definitely.
That's just incredible. And Jazzmann, thank you for sharing. My name is Brian Hickey. I'm the director at the Florida After School Network. So I just had a question about the engagement, or I guess a question about entrepreneurship. And do you use that as an engaging tool so that you can talk about so that you can interact on the social emotional learning and healthy things, and entrepreneurship is kind of the hook? Am I understanding that correctly?
So I understand your question. And
okay.
So it started out where I knew I needed a way to draw them in for entrepreneurship. So social emotional learning was the hook. And that's what I would do during study hall, because I'm like, they're in class for an hour, they're on their phones, they have on headphones in the hallway. So they're just disconnected. But when they're in class, when they do have a chance to talk to each other, they don't even know each other's names and stuff. So once I started just doing the team builders and icebreakers, and then got into deeper, like having actual conversations and discussions, that was my way to build the camaraderie with the students. Just being I had been away from home for like 6 years at that point. So it was a way to hook them in and then teach them entrepreneurship. But because those students, a lot of them came back the following year, and I was just more into the community. I started coaching basketball. I saw then that as my, like they would start their business, have a lot of popularity on Instagram, make their sales, and then, there's a break or school is out. So once I started there, and then once the pandemic came, that was when it really showed, well, they can't do school, they can't run a business, play a sport, they can't do any of that to their full potential if their mental health is not, where it should be. So now, and they all understand, I had to explain it to them with the last lemonade, like, look, this is the focus, because you can still learn how to run a business. But right now we all can see how we're all, because they started talking about, there are two main students who are ready to present and facilitate. They started talking about one of them actually started his own youth group. So they're a youth ministry, and they were meeting on YouTube. They connected with students, 2 kids in Texas, somebody in Tampa. And then the girl who's a senior, she's ready. She's already talking about her mentoring group that she wants to do. So their businesses started changing, as far as like their minds just went to, I just want to help people, versus I want to sell t-shirts. So now I'm looking at it as social the mental
social
health aspect.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, basically.
Absolutely.
It's like I just want to be able to infuse entrepreneurship into what we're doing, but I see how so much can come from them just having that environment to build a space where they're talking about their emotions and their goals and their dreams, and they feel supported by each other.
I love it. That is just absolutely incredible. And thank you. That is awesome.
So one of the things that we like to do is to kind of ask if anybody has questions. And I always start with the one question of, in thinking about a statewide network, what might you consider an ask or a need that a statewide network might be able to assist you with in helping expand or just enhance the work that you do? Other than the obvious, which is usually funding, like most people would say, more funding, of course, more funding. But in terms of what a network might be able to provide for you.
Unmute. Unmute.
Sorry. So really what we need is data and I would say like that backing from the people who know that there is a need for it. Because for a long time, like when I was working in Pompano, I was just, you know, there as a volunteer, trying to build a program up and just trying to build that proof. But since I've been in Jacksonville working in the elementary school and even working with the AmeriCorps members with City Year, like I spoke to our new AD about, hey, I want to come in at the middle of the year and do a lemonade workshop because they need this self-care too. They need a break, they need to connect. So being able to get into those schools or after school programs, or let's say the Boys and Girls Club, a shelter, we really haven't gotten into any of those spaces where we're able to start getting contracts. And, you know, because I have people that are available to volunteer or donate their time, and even like the businesses that want to just give things to the kids. The program, you know, we're able to fulfill our mission, but right now that's what we really need. That's you know, just that momentum to start, so that then we're able to start getting our funding through, you know, however it comes.
So I heard two things. One was about access and how like the network might be able to help increase access to those who know that there's a need. And the first word that you said was data. Did I hear that right? Mm-hmm. So is that the idea of assistance on how to track data? And I think this goes back to, Andrew, what you were talking about in terms of some of that capacity building work. And I know, Jennifer, you kind of your background, a little bit of that backbone that you got is just how to build data, how to interpret data, how to gather it, and then how to use it. Is that, did I understand that correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect.
Because I have a lot of surveys that I would collect, but just as far as like I said, what the students are now saying and teachers and just different people that have seen it grow over the years, I'm like, man, if I had like those nice packets that lay everything out, the impact that was really made, that would help as far as just going into the schools. So now it's like, I feel that we wouldn't have grown without me coming in contact with the Children's Services Council and, you know, starting to take a lot of trainings and, you know, classes and whatnot. But as far as the need for it, that's what I see, because I know that there are so many people right now who are ready to, especially the former students that are ready to go in and facilitate and, you know, mentor and just, you know, do the work.
Awesome.
I know you've connected with the Children's Service Council. Have you connected with the Kids Hope Alliance in Jacksonville?
Well, I did, I did the provider training, and I sent an email. I spoke to Dr. Soretta Williams, who used to work for the Kids Hope Alliance. And she gave me the email of Sylvester. There's a guy named Sylvester, maybe about a month ago, but I didn't hear back. So I haven't like actually made a connection with anybody yet.
Travis.
I was gonna say Travis.
On here.
Meet Jazzmann. Jazzmann, meet Travis. Connected.
Yeah, you just made one today, Jazzmann. So yeah, I've already looked up your website while you were talking, and yeah, so we'll definitely connect. Love the work that you're doing, and yeah, we'll definitely connect after this call. Sylvester used to be on my staff, but before we did a little change in our reorg, but yeah, we'll definitely connect.
Okay.
Love the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Awesome.